It is time to start the show. So, welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome.
Yeah. So we kind of gave a lead off a minute ago about everything, but we'll get back into that in a minute. But first, all right. Thanks, Eric. Eric says it sounds good here. Good. So first, we got to start off with the news because
Jared's bringing the weird this week.
it's the news. So last Sunday in Pocatello,
Oh, I saw this.
there was a bar fight. And police say one man was pinned down on the ground and being punched in the face. So they left the bar. They were out in front of the bar. One guy had tackled the other guy or got him on the ground and was punching him in the face. The guy on the ground reached up, grabbed the other guy's head, and bit his nose off.
Listen, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. It was during a birthday party.
Yeah. So police in eastern Idaho say a man had his nose bitten off during a bar fight early Sunday morning. They're having a birthday party at the Odyssey Bar in Pocatello. The police didn't release the names of the men involved, but said one man was pinned to the ground being punched in the face when he grabbed the puncher's head and bit off his nose. So then the ambulance comes, and someone at the bar was kind enough to pick the nose up and put it on ice so they could sew it back on. So
how was your night tonight, dear?
Don't get into bar fights. But yeah,
So you remember the story we covered with the seagull? The lady bit her boyfriend's the tip of his tongue off. So I get a phone call from Dad the next day.
Uh-huh.
And he said, I can do you one better. There was at the old bowling alley, now where Jana's Java's is, the bowling alley that was behind it, they had pool tables. And there was an altercation that took place where this woman grabbed this man. Now, apparently he had upset her before, and she said that she would make him pay for it. She grabbed him and made him think that she was going to give him this really passionate kiss, and she bit so much of his tongue off that she took his salivary glands. Yeah. Right in the bar. People, don't bite off other people's body parts. That's gross.
And then you've got to spit it out.
Yeah.
They serve food in there, folks.
So gross.
That is rough. Well, I guess, the guy on the ground probably felt that he was
in danger.
In serious danger.
And it's likely he was.
Well,
but
getting punched in the head is no small feat.
Okay.
Well,
another news story, or should we start?
Let's go ahead and kick it off.
So we wanted to cover the water babies.
We've wanted to cover them for a while.
Now, I first heard about the water babies when I lived in Pocatello. The Bannock tribe has tons of folklore around the water babies. Now, I went to school with a couple of tribe members up there, and they would say that owls on the reservation would make the sound of a baby, and it was to draw you close to the water. And once you were near the water, bad things would happen. And there was a legend that the elders told to, the idea is that the elders have been there, seen it, done it, so you need to pay attention. So they would sit them around and tell them this legend that they would tell all the young mothers, especially the nursing mothers, not to nurse near the water's edge. A lot of the times they would be doing things, cleaning and things down near the water. Mm-hmm. And they would tell them, don't nurse near the water's edge. Now, an elder told this story that one time there was a young mother who wasn't paying attention to the elders, and she had gone near the water's edge. She had set her baby back near one of the willow trees. There was a big lake out on the Bannock Reservation. And in high school, we used to go there at night to try to hear the water babies. And you could hear crying, but they said that it's the sound the owls make to get you close, but it sounds just like a baby crying. So
really,
it's really eerie out there, but it's
so you
surrounded
actually
by
heard
willow.
that?
Yes. We went out there on several occasions on these ghost hunts, and we would go out there with the tribe members because it's on the reservation, and they would tell us, don't go past the fence. There was a couple of fences. Don't go past the fence because the water babies can only come that far out of the water, and you could hear the babies crying. It's really eerie.
Did you guys go past the fence?
I never went past the fence. I was a big weenie. So the elder said that this young mother took her nursing baby down to the water's edge. Well, she had it in the board, and she had leaned the papoose board up against the tree. And they have a specific name for it, but I can't remember what they call it. Hai Papat or something. And she heard crying, so she thought it was her baby. So she turned around to see her baby and noticed the baby was fine. Well, when she turned back, a water baby had come out of the water. And he said what the water babies do is they eat the baby and then climb into the papoose board. The mother doesn't know that she's going to be nursing a water baby, and that's how they drag her into the water.
Oh.
So the water baby takes the baby, eats the baby, and then climbs into the papoose board. Well, she hears the baby crying again, so she goes back and she brings it up, and she takes it out of the board and is nursing the baby.
The water baby baby.
The water baby baby, when the water baby drags her into the water. And the elders have now started looking for her, noticing that she's away from the tribe. So they actually, in the story, say that they see the water baby drag her into the water. But it's terrifying even more because it looks like her baby.
Oh.
It doesn't look like this,
Now,
weird mythical creature.
Do you think eat the baby, maybe that's a misinterpretation of maybe possess the baby?
Could be.
Because you've got those, remember the ancient or the old Irish and Celtic folklore of the shape-changing fae that come and they replace your baby with a fairy baby, and you've got to
now you have to imagine that
you've got to surround the baby with iron to get the fae to leave, and then they bring your baby back, or I don't know, whatever they do.
It probably was the easiest means to connect the dots was to say that this monster ate the baby, but it could have been like a possession.
Well, and they might have also, if it was a possession, they may have also said ate the baby to cause more fear into a brand new mother's mind, so that the mother avoids taking the baby to the water's edge at all costs.
It was also very well known that premature babies, often birthed right there on the reservation throughout history, premature babies. Now, not necessarily infanticide or anything like that, but premature babies were tossed into the water.
The ones that were kind of stillborn or
Right.
died soon after, yes.
And so the legend supports the idea that the spirits of those babies are mad at the mothers.
Mad at the mothers, mad at society, mad at everything. I do want to do a show sometime. There's a Japanese guy that wrote a book about reincarnation, and he has a couple chapters about the souls of the aborted that are freaky.
Yeah.
But
So depending on the source, a water baby is a spirit, a ghoul, or a monster. Most of them agree, however, that the water baby is a Native American bred urban legend, and it's a small childlike creature that lives in the water on reservations around the western United States. If you ask someone on the East Coast, they don't know about the water babies, but they know about the Wendigo.
yeah, the Wendigo's more of a northeastern.
So some tales claim that the water baby is merely just a mischievous trickster that spends the majority of its time teasing and abusing humans that walk near the waters. Now, other stories say that it is actually a murderer or an avenger So they crave the taste of human flesh, and they can either be avenging their own death or just merely mindlessly killing anyone who comes too close to the water.
Mm-hmm.
So another one that was really close to us that I wasn't super familiar with was Massacre Rock. Now,
Really?
you guys fished there.
All the time.
Now, the urban legend of Massacre Rock is that one year a terrible famine overtook the land of the Shoshone Indians. And they could not feed themselves, nor could they feed any new mouths. And the mothers were forced to drown their newborn babies in the local rivers and lakes.
Mm.
It is said that the babies changed. In this case, they grew tails and fins and gills. And they survived the famine by feasting on tadpoles and small fish. Now, these spirits can be seen playing in the canals and rivers around the Shoshone-Bannock Reservation, and particularly around Massacre Rock. Now, if you look online, there are hundreds of videos of people saying, "What is that sound?" And it's at Massacre Rock. It sounds like a baby crying.
Really?
So, Provo, Utah Lake also has its own water baby legend. Now, this story tells of a Native American mythical creature that's much like a dwarf. These beasts live in the water of Utah Lake. They mimic the sound of a child's scream and cry to lure humans into open water. So you hear a baby crying. Oftentimes you'll hear the water splashing. And so
it sounds like maybe there's a baby drowning.
There's
or
a baby
child
drowning. And it lures you in. Now, it says their purpose is unclear, but if you again look at Provo Lake or Utah Lake in Provo, tons of people hear babies crying.
Mm.
The big one is Pyramid Lake. Now, Pyramid Lake near Reno is kind of the hotbed for this urban legend.
Yes.
Pyramid Lake is an interesting place all on its own. Having been there a couple of times, you can fish and camp and things. However, it is entirely on reservation land, so you have to get permitted.
Yeah, you get a permit through the it's Paiute out there.
Mm-hmm.
You get a permit, and they're more than happy to have you come and enjoy their lake there and everything else. But it has some spooky tales there. But it's real interesting. Pyramid Lake is the remnants of a Pleistocene huge lake, kind of like Lake Bonneville was, or probably a leftover from Lake Bonneville. But it's got these weird rock formations that look like pyramids.
Yeah, there's several of them. So it's sprawled out. It's literally, when you come up over it, we went down to the Burning Man and then took the Burning Man Highway. That takes you right past Pyramid Lake. So that's
Burning Man,
the festival.
yeah.
So that takes you right past Pyramid Lake. And it looks like a mirage.
I can't picture my sister at Burning Man.
I didn't go to the festival itself. We just went to kind of see all of the hubbub. We were already down there. Okay. I do know people who come to Burning Man. I don't know if it's my thing.
Hey, man.
But sprawled out.
I look good in a tutu and cargo shorts.
It's insane. The Burning Man festivities are insane. And we caught the caravan that was leaving. And we were able to stop at all of the stands, and I could have probably bought any drug known to man, but
I do want to go there one time, see what it is.
So does Cody. You guys should go together. Get you a couple of matching tutus.
Yeah, I want purple.
But when you come up over the hill, it looks like a mirage. It doesn't look like water. So it's got the Truckee River Basin. That's where it's actually in the base of. And it's 40 miles from the city of Reno. It has no tributaries that we know of.
Yeah, that's the weird thing.
And it has no water going out. It's a desert pond.
It's a ultra popular cutthroat fishing area. It has huge cutthroat
They
trout
were
in
pulling 40-pound cutthroat out of
it.
there.
Monster cutthroats. But there is nowhere that water leaves.
Yeah. And it really doesn't have any tributaries. However,
Yeah.
we kind of covered this prior to the show. There have been several instances that people have gone missing in Tahoe, which is 61 miles away as the crow flies, and been found in Pyramid Lake.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. So the legend that really supports the Native American legend around there that says, yeah, well, they were taken by the water babies.
Well, it's not just that, but they also say there's underground rivers.
There has to be a way for some aquifer of some kind that connects those two.
Where does the water come in? And how does the water has to be able to leave in order for it to be fresh water to support the cutthroat?
Now, Pyramid Lake has interesting topography as well. Aside from the giant pyramid shape in the center, it has crystal clear water, and you can see the floor of the lake, and then it'll drop 400 feet.
It's got a huge drop off, like 30, 40 feet out into the shoals.
And every year, fishermen disappear at Pyramid Lake.
I know. And see, I want to go fishing out there, but this has made me leery.
Yeah. It's interesting. When we went by there were people on ladders fly fishing.
Really?
They just walk their little ladders out there, set them up, and I'm like, what are they doing?
Oh, man. But after hearing this, would you be, what pucker factor do you think I'd be cruising at?
Now, it says that the Paiute tribe lived in peaceful seclusion out there for centuries before the lake was discovered and mapped by John C. Fremont.
Yeah, and it was still a little while after they lived, but then during the gold rush, all that area got flooded, and that's when they got introduced to people wanting to take over. And
now, the legend that's told by the Native Americans is that, this new settlement of these European settlers had disastrous consequences. They chopped down pinyon trees, which was a major food source for the natives. The cattle ranchers caused destruction of the already. I mean, it's sparse out there. It's desert. But bringing in tons of cattle, even if they're just grazing as they pass through, completely wiped out the vegetation for the Paiute grazing lands. And at first, they tried to live in harmony with the white settlers and traded with them regularly. However, the way the water babies came about is that this presented a unique boil over, not just violence, but a complete culmination of loss of resources. And and they were forced to thin down their tribe in times when they couldn't feed them all. And so, because babies are born in water, it felt right that, the weaker ones, any of those that were born early or had any, known physical, issues, would be taken down to Pyramid Lake and they would be drowned.
Yeah.
And now they say that in the springtime especially, you'll never see any of the local Indians down there.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, they're
They say that that's when the water babies are the hungriest and they just won't go down there.
yeah, they say springtime's the hotbed of it. And they're smarter.
Yeah.
Smarter than we are. Now we're showing images right now of Pyramid Lake, and for people who are just listening, it's gorgeous, beautiful, but the rock formations are amazing.
Now,
jutting 30, 40 feet into the air.
There is an interesting side. The saying "to the victor go the spoils" includes historical register, includes history. So allegedly, they say that the Paiute did this to weed out the weak. However, the flip side of this is that was a story that was said to make them look like savages.
And yeah,
that it was actually done by the European settlers.
That story could be easily just be hogwash, either or it might be a mix of the both. You never know. It might be a mix of, if they have a premature birth that doesn't make it, they might maybe put the baby in the lake for religious reasons or whatever, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's perfectly likely that it was just the white men that ended up going to war with them, just kind of being
now they do
horrible.
say to this day both visitors and locals alike report hearing babies crying and laughter of children wafting out from across the still water, normally late at night.
In the spring.
And the locals say if you hear them, you will have bad luck. If you see them, you're dead.
Yeah. It's too late if you see them.
Yeah.
But time for another news story. So, we mentioned on a couple podcasts ago, and I need to take a minute. So we did have one of our shows got deleted off of YouTube.
For harassment.
For harassment and cyberbullying. I don't know who we harassed or cyberbullied on that show. I don't think anyone. We generally don't pinpoint people. Except for maybe on that one, we did talk about spirit cooking.
We did. And
there might be a couple of names mentioned on that. The lady who...
Marina Abramovic.
Yeah, Marina, whatever her name is.
But she does spirit cooking.
Yeah, spirit cooking is so... You get as close to witchcraft and cannibalism as you can. I mean, they're adjacent. But anyway, so we've talked... So that one got deleted. It's still up on BitChute, and you can go listen to it in podcast form on through whatever podcatcher you prefer. But... it got taken down. I asked YouTube, can I please know? Okay. So you get a notification. They say this video is removed for cyberbullying and online harassment, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I said, I asked them, can you tell me what specific part so that we can, in the future, ensure that we do not hurt anyone.
Harass or bully people.
Yes.
We bullied the poo jogger, and he loves us.
Yeah, the poo jogger, he's a good friend. He's in Australia. But anyways, so, well, it may not be him. It might be a poo jogger fan club person also. We don't know. We haven't had a direct answer whether that was actually the poo jogger. Another story. If you guys want to hear it, send us a message. But I wanted to know, what did we do specifically so we can correct that? And they just wrote back and said,
Denied.
I was like, I don't want you to put it back up. I just want you to let me know, give me some guidance. But we're still a very small, very, very, very small channel. So I don't think yet we're big enough to
we're not on their radar.
Yes. But anyway, so we talked before about Bill Gates and whether or not he knows.
This is going to be harassing to you, Mr. Gates. I hope you've got some thick skin.
Yes. Bill Gates is, we've talked about how he is edging ever closer to being a Bond villain.
Absolutely. And a terrible one.
Like literally.
Like he's laying his whole plan out there for us.
He's got to be building a layer in a volcano by now.
A layer.
So,
going to take over the world. He's Ren.
Headline reads, Bill Gates funded study to dim sunlight may be needed against horrific climate change. I'm telling you, this guy, if you ever get the chance, what's that show, the Kingsman?
Mm-hmm.
Bill Gates is the black guy. What's his name? Samuel Jackson on The Kingsman.
He's evil.
Widespread use of technology that dims natural sunlight to help fight climate change should only be used as a last resort, scientists have warned. Large-scale use of the process known as solar geoengineering is a terrifying concept that is only likely to be used in the future if significant regions of the planet become too warm to be habitable. Harvard University professor Frank Kuch told the Times. And we're reading from Newsweek. Despite the concern, Kuch
Definitely German.
is leading a project to study such technology, which could start later this year. On a side note, Germans and Russians tend to put a lot of consonants right next to each other. And the French will spell a word and pronounce it nowhere near that spelling.
Uh-huh.
We've got silent everything coming off the French. Anyways.
This is okay.
So here's what they're talking about doing. Let me get to this real quick. They want to put particles in the air. Okay. They want to put a chemical, calcium carbonate, chalk dust, in the air. They want to take a high altitude hot air balloon, push it up, do its thing. And then once it's at height, it'll release chalk into the air and dim the earth.
This is not a good idea.
Hello Ice Age. Well, you know what? Maybe they could stretch out the ice fishing season.
That's a terrible idea as well. I don't even like to ice fish.
Some experts have voiced fears that blasting chemicals into our immediate orbit tampers with the natural order, making weather less predictable or threatening populations' food supplies by causing drought. Now, we have talked about Operation Popeye. Mm-hmm. We talked about that. Mm-hmm. That was during Vietnam when we did weather modification. It is open, it's known, it's admitted to. We tried to make the monsoons last longer to wash out the Ho Chi Minh Trail. But what could happen? I mean, let's say they do this and weather changes and blows the dust over somewhere they didn't need it or intend it to be. Or what if it causes rain to drop in areas where it's not supposed to drop, but diverts it from areas where it's expected? Mm-hmm. I mean, the Sahara used to be a lush rainforest, and now it's a monster desert.
And that was without any of our meddling. Listen, if there is an alien life force just beyond our atmosphere, you can go ahead and come in and intervene now. We need you to take Bill Gates.
What we need is MI6 to step in any minute now.
Oh,
it could be any James Bond or Jane Bond or, I don't care.
This is not a good idea. And I don't care where you stand on climate change. If you believe in climate change, then you believe that humans have affected it. So we should stop. If you don't believe in climate change, then you understand that the nature of this earth is cyclical and we go through hot and then cold. And we should not be meddling in that because we are not smart enough.
Well, I believe that Dr. Bill Gates.
He's not.
Well, Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil.
He didn't go to 8 years of evil medical school to be called Mr. But anyway, so the company is called ScopeX, Strategic Controlled Perturbation Experiment, ScopeX.
There's nothing he's involved in. That ID 2020, check into that. That'll scare you right to death.
It's going to be an upcoming show. We've also got to do...
There's nothing he's involved in that I think is good stuff.
Yeah.
He is an evil villain who's really stupid and tells you everything that he does.
He is a James Bond villain. It's getting scary. Anyways, according to Snopes, credible, 100%. Scopex is also financed by the Fund for Innovative Climate and Energy Research. What if they do this and they start, they could definitely make a new weapon, and this could be a deadlier weapon than a nuclear bomb. A nuclear bomb's immediate, horrible, heinous.
This could, I don't know, block out the sun over China for a decade.
What if you could cause a famine that causes millions to slowly die? Or what if you want to steer a war and make a war happen?
Bill Gates, if you're listening to this, we're not challenging you.
Yeah,
this is not a challenge.
But what if you could cause a famine in a country that you want them to try to attack a different country and deplete them both so you can go on a mop up? This is horrible. Horrible stuff.
Yeah. We did treaties about the moon. We did treaties about space. I think
Antarctica.
I think it's time that we do worldwide treaties about our own atmosphere.
There is, though. We talked about it in Operation Popeye. There is a treaty that we shall not use the atmosphere to...
And we can't weaponize it.
To weaponize. But
the problem
what does that mean? They'll say, oh, we didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, the problem is it needs to be deeper. It needs to say, stop shooting shit into the atmosphere for your stupid,
Yeah, leave it alone.
Science projects.
Look at during Project Popeye. We do that, and was the treaty older or younger than that?
Oh, it happened in the middle of it.
Yeah.
We just kept right on go.
So what the heck, And that was the United States.
Yeah.
It's getting to where, I don't know, maybe we should, lower the prices of private islands so that they go buy them and leave us alone.
There you go.
But yeah, anyway, so back to the story.
I've got a couple of scary stories about water babies.
Yeah, well, you know what? Should I tell mine now or should I hang on for a minute?
Dr. Evil, yes. So let's get a couple of these. Laura brings up a good one. She said, in the Mormon religion, which we're familiar with, the missionaries are not allowed by the water because Satan controls the water. In so many religions, there is this fear that is instilled about water. Yeah. And I think it's because as we became seafaring people, it was tragic.
Yeah,
a lot of things happened in open water.
Might even be before that. You got the Diluvian flood. You've got all of that. Who knows what it is?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So this particular sighting, she says, I live on the Tool Reservation. I'm not sure where that's at, but she said I was 2 or 3 when we had gone fishing. This is one of my earliest childhood memories. I saw a water baby slide out of the water and go back behind my sister and my cousin and then sit between them. I distinctly remember that it was a darker skin color, had dark brown hair, blue eyes, and it looked like a little boy. It giggled and took off down the river when my uncle swung his shovel at it, knowing what it was. Like, that's your earliest childhood memory, is your uncle swinging a shovel at a cute little boy? This one is in Porterville, California. Many years ago, there were sightings of a gnome creature similar to a water baby. It was thought to have belonged to the Tool River, so the Tool Reservation has to be in California as well. Mm-hmm. So this one, they call it a gnome-like creature. I wonder if it had a long, pointy hat. This one's from Pocatello. I grew up in Pocatello. It was called the Barrens. Yep, that's what it was. we would party in our vehicles on the side of the road. None of my friends would get out. I did a few times, but never made it to the bank, because even as it started to get to be dusk, you could hear the babies crying.
We may have to take a drive up there.
Now, I heard them myself. It's eerie. The first time I heard them, I was like...
Do you think that's... so they're claiming it's the owls?
The legend, or the legend that is told by their elders, is that the water babies don't make a noise. They work with the owls.
So they're
and the owls lure you in by
friends.
crying like a baby.
And then the water babies lure in the mice.
Now, I did try to look and find videos of owls making baby sounds. I couldn't find any. But it is... I even tried to, like, I guess justify it. All the willow trees. Is it the sound of the wind? And then we would go out there and there wouldn't be any wind. And it's the barrens. That's what it's actually called. And you would park your vehicles near the fence. And we would, play music and stuff. And then after it'd get really dark, we'd all turn the radios down. And we'd listen for the cries of the babies. Now, I don't know. It's strange. This one says, my grandmother was Choctaw. She told me a story of long ago that men had been out on a boat fishing before the Red River had been turned into a lake. They were coming up the river on boats when they saw a girl sitting on a rock brushing her hair and singing. When she seen them, she hurried into the water, but she was half fish. So the men threw their nets to get her and caught her and pulled her to them. Almost out of the water completely, she started to fight them. She was so strong they couldn't restrain her. She got free, ripping through the nets and almost turning over the boats. She grabbed 2 of the men and took them straight to the bottom. They were never seen again. Now, someone went back and told their tribe that, that this had happened, the whole story, and that they were going to go out and try and find them. But the elder of the tribe laughed at them and said, those are the water babies. You'll never get them back. So it's almost a mer creature.
Yeah, that's a mermaid.
In this one.
There's another legend about Pyramid Lake, about how the water babies came to be. And this legend is told of 2 ways. A young warrior met a mermaid and brought the mermaid back and wanted to marry her.
Yes.
And the tribe said, no, you can't marry her. She's weird. She has fins on her ass.
Have you seen her?
Yeah. Wipe the shit out your eyes. Anyhow, so he when he took her back, she cursed the lake to have these little demons in it. That's one of the stories. And another one is that one of the European men brought a mermaid to marry her, and his community said no. So when he took her back, she cursed the lake and brought about the water babies. And those are 2 other stories about the origination of the water baby. What if there's a Pyramid Lake Ness monster?
Drain the lake. I want to drain the lock.
I know you want it.
Drain the lock.
Yeah.
All right, tell us your story.
Okay, so I'm a young guy. I had to have been, I don't know, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and my friend at the time, we're hanging out at his house, and I have very limited memory of this, but everyone's saying, and apparently we could hear a baby crying down at Blue Lakes, which is the clean water side of the old sewage treatment in Grantsville. And so the older teenage boys hop on their bikes and haul butt down there.
Back in the day.
And me and the other, 10, 11-year-old hop on our bikes and start heading that way, but we aren't anywhere near as fast as a couple of late teenagers. They get down there, turn around and come. We're just starting down the dirt road that heads to it. We're probably, I don't know, half a mile out. And they come riding up, turn around, go back. It's a water baby. And so, we turn around, and that's when they tell us the story about the water baby. Now, I don't know if this is local to the ghost shoots around here, their traditions of water babies, or if it's a narrative, or if it's just some teenage boys wanting to scare a couple of preteens.
Mm-hmm.
But they said there used to be a guy out on Old Lincoln Highway that had one as a pet that lived in a doghouse behind his gas station. And that the water baby had turned green, had like green,
I wonder if Dad knew him.
Ashy green skin. Yeah, I'm sure Dad probably did. Had ashy green skin, and he kept it on a chain, and he would feed it meat, But its mouth was oversized. And
that is a terrible story to tell a 10, 11-year-old.
Yeah, and they said, we saw a water baby down there, turn back, we can't catch it, and everything else. But that's when they told us about the water baby that lived behind a gas station on Old Lincoln Highway. And apparently, that would be the same gas station or same location that would have been Dad's first job.
Dad, you have some splaining to do.
You have some splaining to do. Yeah. But yeah, so that was the story. That's my experience with the water baby.
I never heard of that. I mean,
we were just young.
Boys talk amongst themselves at that age, but when I first moved to Idaho, it was like shell shock. I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, they cry at night. I'm like, what cries at night? The water babies. What's a water baby?
Yeah.
It's a spirit of a baby that was drowned in the lake. Why are they drowning babies? Like, I had so many questions.
Well, the other story I got is how a water baby was made is an infant got lost from the parents. Mm-hmm. And that Satan took sympathy on it and imbued it with certain powers so that it would survive.
Put it in the water.
Put it in
Satan's realm.
They'd put it in the water. The water babies were super strong and fast and had that elongated mouth with the sharp teeth. Its eyes got a little bit bigger. Its color changed. It could, breathe underwater, all that stuff.
Mermaid.
So yeah, Satan made the mermaids.
Satan made the mermaids. Solved. On
the spot. But yeah, that's pretty wild stuff.
Water babies.
Yes.
The terrifying times of my youth.
Yeah. So let's go through a couple of the comments real quick before we close the show down. Sounds good. Hello, James. Glad to see you join us. Your husband says he wants to wear a tie-dye tutu.
He really does want to go to Burning Man.
I think it'd be fun. Hello, Tiffany.
I do not think it would be fun.
I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. Is there a better people watching experience on Earth?
Absolutely not. That's it right there.
Laura says, I don't get to disappear. Emily Roberry, hi. Haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah.
Ryan, hey. How you doing, Ryan? Now, Ryan says, screwing with the atmosphere is not so smart. Correct with that. That makes me nervous that Dr. Evil is planning that stuff. Do you think he'll have a special chair made so he can spin around slowly?
He needs a midget. Bill Gates needs a Bill Gates midget. A mini
Bill?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
If he puts one pinky to his lip and says anything, it's over.
I'm telling you, right now, he is buying a exotic animal and putting a weapon
tigers,
system on.
100%.
Okay, he's buying tigers and putting chainsaws on their foreheads or something, making chainsaw tiger corns.
He's gonna cut them loose in all that farmland he owns.
Man, I just hope that when he plans something out, it's too elaborate and easily defiled. James says Dr. Evil.
Yeah, he needs a death ray pointed at him.
I just wonder, I mean,
So there's a sordid history behind the whole Gates.
Bill Gates has been tossed out of quite a few countries for his.
Yes, and there is a direct link to Margaret Sanger and eugenics, and you just can't educate that out of a person. I believe everything he does is with depopulation in mind.
Yeah,
and
I could see it.
If that's the hill you choose, then
Well, depopulation for them sounds fine and dandy because they're going to make it.
Yeah.
They don't mind if it finishes off.
They can't see at what expense because they don't think that far out.
And another question to ask them: has any of them run the numbers on what kind of pollution a third of the population dying would cost the Earth?
Yeah.
Is the Earth ready for that all in a 10-year or 5-year period? Anyways, but yeah, the water babies. Now, I don't know if Gary's still around, but Gary, I want to throw an invite out for you to come on and tell the scary stories. That's where I first heard about the Nagloshi.
It makes you tough when your grandma tells you those.
Yeah, his darling grandma would get us with the spooky stories. Yeah.
Our sweet grandma. Oh, dear.
Yeah, our grandma would never have.
Now, there was always a scary movie on at my mom's house.
Yeah.
So.
Well, okay, define scary. Was it cheesy?
Yeah.
Mostly
cheesy. She had terrible taste
Always
in
cheesy.
movies.
Anyway, so, okay. We'll throw this out at the end of the show. Please go to our YouTube and subscribe and like and comment.
Also, we're going to do the drawing next week.
Yeah, next week we're doing the drawing. So
for the aura reading.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't see it, Dr. Kim McGeorge is offering to do an aura reading for a lucky winner, and we'll do the drawing, invite you on the show. She'll read your aura and she emails you like a little report and breaks it down for you.
It was pretty cool when she did ours.
What's the YouTube? Tiffany says you know what I'll do, Tiffany, is I will post it on here real quick. But anyways, yeah, so to enter the drawing, you need to go to the webpage. Yeah, go to the webpage.
Subscribe. As a subscriber, it's free, but you also get the additional content. I think we need to do a scary show for our next subscriber content. But and then give us a rate, a review, and we'll enter your name in for the drawing. And if you have done that, shoot us a message, and we'll make sure that you're all inside the drawing list. Mm-hmm. The show with Kim McGeorge was pretty cool.
No more people in zoos.
Let's make this happen. Welcome to the show.
Sorry. Yeah, you need to, just, okay, go on. Keep going. Sorry, I'm trying to pull stuff up.
Subscribe, rate and review, and we'll put your name in the drawing, and then we'll let you know next week, if your name was drawn. She would like to do 2 or 3. What she'll likely do is have you send in a picture, and then you can choose to either join the show with video and audio, or just audio, or just listen to your aura reading, and she'll give it, to the show.
Yeah. And, you can send us a picture,
Yeah, that's what she did with us, is she took one of our pictures and then read our aura.
Yeah.
If, however, you do want to be on the show, we found that my aura was a little different in the picture that I sent to her, because the picture I sent to her was like a year old.
Yeah.
And so she said that your aura changes almost indefinitely. It's in constant state of motion. So what she reads is what's going on right now. And it was really spot on for me.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and mine she took that day. Now, She said, I'm an old soul, and we all know
Yes.
I'm not.
Yes,
We
you
all know
are.
that
Everybody knows you are.
I was a Neanderthal in my
And
last life, and a
my-
cockroach before that. I almost made it to butterfly.
Cockroaches do not evolve to butterfly.
How do you know?
Well, because I know. She said that I'm part of the Fae, which I have to tell you haunts me to this day. I'm like, well, that's really weird. And she said, yeah, you're part of the Fae. Your soul is part of the Fae.
Really?
Yes. It was interesting. So, anyway,
Okay, but yeah.
get us in those submissions and we will enter you into the drawing.
Yeah, we'll enter you in. We'll have, I don't know, how many were we going to do?
She wanted to do 2 or 3, depending on how much time she has that day.
Okay, perfect. But
So
yeah.
if we can't get to you on the show, we'll likely draw 3 names. If we can't get to you on the show, then she said that she would, reach out to you with a video message with your aura reading later.
Yeah, we would like you to come on the show. I think that'd be super fun to have her talk to the readee
The
and say,
readee.
"Oh, this is what we see, and this, that, and the other." humana, and then have me off the side, go, ooh, making all the
Yes.
all the cool quips. But yeah, so thanks, Andrew. Yeah. James says, I think it was Australopithecus.
Australopithecus afrenis?
Yeah, what is that? Australian
James.
Australopithecus. Is that
Is that the official name of the Australian poo jogger?
well, that does sound like a giant ape, right? Australopithecus,
Yeah, maybe.
like Gigantopithecus. I'm not up on my Greek, but I will look deeper into it. I promise next week when I come back, I'll have learned one more Greek word.
That's right.
Yes, but thanks for joining us tonight. But yeah, go to the website. It's thewildpod.com and sign up there.
I'm going to get on Jared. By next week, we're going to have the merch for his version of the mermaid.
Yeah.
What did we decide?
Yeah, top half or something. I don't know. Well, I'll make a couple designs, but we are
The Octomaid, I think is what
yeah.
we decided,
Ooh,
instead of the merpuss.
yeah, the Merpus. But anyway, so yeah, jump on there, sign up, and if you guys want to see something on the show, or if you guys have something awesome you'd want to present, send us a message. We would love to coordinate with people who have awesome stories. I mean, that's what we enjoy. That's why we do this, because we love the stories. But thanks for joining us.
Have a great week.
Yes, have a very great week, and we will see you guys next Tuesday.